Hi, welcome to Nourishment Connection. I'm Angela. Today I'm going to briefly talk to you just about the basics of whole grains, getting started with them. I'll have other videos about actually cooking them. I just wanted to introduce to you the different kinds of whole grains, which ones cook a little bit easier than others, and some of the conveniences that are out there for those of us who don't always have time to cook them. So, some of the basics. In this back row here, I have all different kinds of quinoa, and quinoa has become probably I would say the most famous of the grains, probably walking the red carpet of Grainville. And it's actually a seed, it's not a grain, to be technical, but it cooks like a whole grain, and it has the nutritive value like whole grains do. So technically a seed, but for all intents and purposes, you can eat it like a whole grain because it's awesome for you. And it comes kind of in this yellowish color, and you can also get these yummy tricolor blends. There's also a red quinoa and a black quinoa, and those flavors cook slightly differently. It takes about 20 minutes or so to cook, maybe 25. The darker colors have, I would say, nuttier, kind of heartier flavors. The lighter is a lighter flavor that kind of takes the flavors more of whatever marinade or dressing you give it. Other grains that are out there, millet, I think, is the closest to quinoa. I would say probably second most popular that runs like that, and also one of the easier ones to cook. Bulgur wheat is another super easy one to cook, and Bob's Red Mill is a very easy brand to find and a popular one. Shiloh is another brand that's pretty easy to find that you can get your grains, or in bulk sections like at a Whole Foods. Kamut, this is a whole grain, takes a long time to cook, so yummy but big investment. Barley, another one, takes a long time to cook, but really good for you, so if you had the time. And then you have your brown rice, you have your spelt. These grains take longer to cook. If you've got the time, they're really awesome for you, but they have more cooking time. Amaranth is a seed like quinoa, and it takes a little longer to cook, but it is delicious if you've got the time. But instead of 20 minutes, it's closer to about 35. Now, the conveniences that are out there for you if you don't have time to cook your whole grains. I'm a big fan of Trader Joe's options. They have the frozen organic brown rice, and then they have their wild rice and barley medley. This one is nice and high in fiber, and they're so easy to use. I mean, you just heat them up and eat them. Delicious, big time savers. And then Whole Foods, and even the Giant, actually sells these pre-cooked, vacuum sealed whole grains. You have to watch the sodium count, so I wouldn't eat them all the time, but in a pinch, these whole grains are way better to eat than a bag of potato chips. And then finally, at Whole Foods, you can find these whole grains that are just ready for you to cook on your stovetop. Just drop them in some chicken broth and you are good to go. So there's Intro to Whole Grains 101.